One Democrat who will not be in attendance tonight is California Senator Adam Schiff. He and a group of 30 other Democratic lawmakers are holding a counter event they're calling the People's State of the Union on the National Mall. Senator Schiff, thank you so much for joining us. Senator,
Good to be with you.
Thank you so much. So this State of the Union tonight, what you're holding on the National Mall, what are Democrats hoping to accomplish with this event?
Well, look, I've attended every State of the Union for the last 25 years, but I won't be attending this one. We just can't treat this as business as usual. There are masked ICE agents roaming our streets demanding to see people's papers. You have the president violating the law on a daily, weekly basis and ignoring court orders when he's ordered otherwise. You have the president through the Justice Department trying to indict 6 of my colleagues for putting out a video he didn't like. He's trying to censor universities and law firms. We just can't treat this as a normal presidency, a normal time, and I didn't want my presence there to somehow convey a message that I was accepting of all of this. I am not, and a bunch of us are going to gather out on the mall tonight to talk about the real state of our union, because he will paint a rosy and false picture of what the last year has been like, but it has been chaos, increased costs, and increased harm to the American people, and we look forward to tonight to get that point across.
And do you believe Democrats will be able to move Americans who may have voted for Trump?
Well, I think a lot of Americans are already moving away from Donald Trump. I think what Democrats need to do is set out a positive agenda that will bring prices down, that will build lots more housing, millions and millions of new homes so people can afford a home again, that will invest in new renewable energy projects instead of killing them so we can bring down utility bills, that will support our farmers and not put tariffs on them so that we can bring grocery prices down. We have to talk about our affirmative agenda, which I think will be attractive to the country, even as we critique all the horrors we've seen from this administration.
And let's talk a little bit more about the economy. According to our latest poll, voters aren't happy with the president when it comes to the economy, but they're also not saying they trust Democrats more to bring prices down. What's one concrete economic proposal Democrats can run on that would directly lower costs?
Well, my main focus has been on bringing housing costs down, and basically it's a supply problem. We need to build millions and millions more homes, and we can do that by dramatically expanding things like the low-income housing tax credit, by paving the way to get housing approvals much more quickly and incentivizing local governments to get to yes on new housing projects. We built millions and millions of new homes for returning GIs after World War II, and they were affordable. We can do that again, and we have to do that again, and I think that's the only way we're going to bring down housing costs and make it possible for American families to afford their rent or their mortgage once again.
Let's touch on the Democratic response that's scheduled for tonight. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger is delivering the Democratic response tonight. How do you expect her to lay out a vision for Democrats that will win over voters?
I know Abigail very well. I think she's going to be an extraordinary governor, and she will lay out her blueprint, her template for the things that she wants to do in Virginia and she wants to see in the country to bring down the cost of living. She will acknowledge that we have an affordability crisis, as opposed to a president who still calls it a hoax and says he just won affordability, whatever that means. So I think Abigail will paint an accurate portrait of the challenges facing the country, and I think she will also bring some optimism to her speech and talk about how these challenges we face are not beyond our ability to overcome. So I'm looking forward to her State of the Union and her rebuttal, because I think it will be both an accurate critique of the administration, an affirmative agenda of her own and for our party, as well as an uplifting message for the country at this very difficult time.
And as you know, many are looking toward the midterms. What do you think are the Democratic Party's biggest hurdles right now heading into the midterms?
Well, I think we have to continue to keep our eye on the prize, which is the midterm elections, the affordability agenda, proposals to bring costs down. I think we also have to make the case that the reason why this administration has not been able to bring costs down, in addition to the nonsensical and illegal tariff wars, is that this president doesn't care about them. It's only ever been about him, his personal economy, and that of his family has grown by billions. He's made more money since he became president a year ago than his entire lifetime before that. This is why he's not focused on the problems of ordinary people, because he's too focused on himself, on tearing down the East Wing and building ballrooms and catering to billionaires. That's not going to solve the problem. We're going to be focused and are focused on working families, bringing health care costs down, making health care accessible, not cutting Medicaid by $1 trillion or ending tax credits under the Affordable Care Act. So we're going to be laying out the case. I think as long as we keep our focus on those economic bread and butter issues, we will do great in November.
All right, Democratic Senator Adam Schiff, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck tonight.
Thank you very much.